Oh my gosh, Bruce, Luke, I'm so happy to see you guys. And Bruce, I'm such a fan of your work. I'm so glad that we finally got to meet. And so, Bruce, you want to introduce yourself, and then I'll ask Luke to do the same. And of course, we
Yeah,
all
yeah. Well,
amazing work at Figwheel, Dev Cards. But hey, you should definitely introduce yourself in your own words.
oh gosh. Well, first of all, the feeling's mutual. This is pretty great. And yeah, I'm Bruce Hauman. I tried to figure out especially since I was interviewing for jobs recently, how do I describe what I do? And so I came up with or what gets me going. And what it comes down to is when something feels like magic to me, then I'm all in, right? I just can't help myself, right? And when I first got, hot reloading working and it worked really, really well and was incomparable in terms of workflow, yeah, I was all in. I was like, this is the only way to do this. And then I put a lot of effort into making that making an experience so nice that it communicated the magic that I first experienced. And so yeah, and so I've kind of done that serially over and over, and it just seems more like a habit than, you know, it's kind of compulsive, I guess. And
Well, I remember when I saw your
yeah.
big wheel demo. It was like I couldn't believe my eyes, and it made me jump into writing my first Clojure script program, despite having a very shaky understanding of how any of it worked. It was just, but absolutely magical. I'm not sure if that was your experience, Luke. Anyway, thank you, Bruce.
Mhm.
Luke, you should definitely introduce yourself. We've known each other for 5+ years now. 8 years.
Yeah. Has it been that long? Oh my God. All right, let's table that and not think about it too much. Yeah, so my name's Luke, and Gene and I met at a Clojure conference apparently 8 years ago. And I think, yeah, so I was using Clojure at Apple, and I'd been at Apple for, well, until January this year, I was at Apple for 19 years. And so I was, trying to sneak Clojure into some different parts there, and then ended up joining NVIDIA this year. So I've kind of gone from, zero AI exposure or very limited AI and Gen AI exposure to it basically being like a everyday part of my workflow for both home and work projects. And so I feel like those moments where you sort of see like test-driven development working or live code reloading working, I feel like a lot of us are drawn together because we experience the same thing when you start to see some of these coding agents do their thing, and you're kind of like, oh, this is like, damn it, this is definitely different. Like you feel like you just stepped across a Rubicon, or pick your metaphor, right? And it's just like the world is,
Yeah.
different on the other side of what I just saw.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it was actually we were all hanging out with Steve Yegge, and we're talking about like our first kind of aha moment with coding agents. And for me, it was actually trying to get the Trello API to work, where I spent 45 minutes trying to get just one specific API endpoint working that I've never gotten to work. And all I was doing was copy and pasting. I was asking Claude Code, make this work. And it was telling me to copy and paste into curl. And I was copy and pasting the output back into Claude Code. And I'm like, screw this. Like, you run curl. Like, I can't write a Clojure program that's like curl. 45 seconds later, it was done. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, why would I ever copy and paste again? And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
seeing those loops everywhere was just such a mind melting moment. And then, oh, so I share that with Luke. That night, Luke has it running on his laptop. And it's uh you started working on the CNC Telnet
Oh, right.
loader.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an example of something we were talking about just earlier, which is the coding assistants basically expanding the scope of things you would consider to work on way past anything that you would have considered working on before. So I've got a little Carvera CNC machine, and it's powered by 350,000 lines of C++. And,
Yeah.
it's not the case that I don't know how to approach that engineering problem or work on it. It's just that when you gain a certain level of experience, you can sort of like see the kind of like the
The actual
battlefield
cost.
in front of you
Yeah.
and how long
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
take. And you'd be like, man, I'm going to go in here. I know exactly where to go. I know, I feel like I know how long it's going to take. This is going to be a slog if I want to change anything here? And do I want to page all this into my brain? Like I have a relatively small thing I want to change. The sort of starting cost of that is paging many thousands of lines of C++ in just to get something going and fixing the build system and all the other
Oh
things.
God.
And so,
Oh yeah. That's the hard part.
right. So
Yeah.
I think hearing Steve's stories about Claude Code, I was like, well, okay, I'll just, why not? I'll just sit down and tell this thing, go make a unit test. There are no unit tests at all in this 350,000 line C++. So it was like, go make a unit test. And I got shockingly fast, shockingly quickly, and started using it to be able to explore the code base, started using it to sort of, and it was clearly too much at that time for the thing to swallow. Like we're not still at the stage, we're not at the stage where 350,000 lines of C++ can just be fed to this thing and get a perfect result. But we got so much further than I anticipated or expected that, yeah, I think I spent like $25 on Claude in like one sitting, trying to, and then I pivoted and was like, maybe if I get this thing to write an MCP server that plugs into ClangD and can read all the symbols and let the agent itself navigate around there. That was another like, $20 worth of Claude tokens. And same kind of thing. It's like, what? It's 3 in the morning. Like I have not spent this much time with code for a really long time. Yeah, so that's like the high level sort of CNC story. I could tell many more that are very similar at this point.
Made it into the book. So Bruce, when I saw your Clojure-MCP thing, I was right in the middle of finishing up the manuscript, and I was like, I can't do it. But the ultimate reward I'm giving myself.
Wait, you have a manuscript? You have a book?
Yeah, it's a vibe coding book.
You should tell us about it. You should tell us about it.
What is this book?
Yeah, so this most fun thing I've ever got to work on. Working with the famous Steve Yegge. So he wrote the foreword to the one of the Clojure books that's on my bookshelf. He was famous for his contributions at Amazon and Google, where he was there for 20 years. And it started off with a pair programming session that we had together in August, where I got to build something that was, again, I thought out of my reach. It was a little video excerpt generator. That I know screenshots I had taken on my phone from YouTube podcasts. And so the idea is like take the inputs are the transcript, the YouTube video file, and the output is an excerpt with the captions overlaid, right? Like you would see in social media. We built in 47 minutes. I was like, it would have been days. And so like the little acronym that we have in our book is FAFO: faster, more ambitious, do things more autonomously or alone, have more fun, and explore more options. Like so just the whole notion of like being more ambitious and doing things incredibly fast. I mean, it's just life-changing. Yeah, so it's just been the most life-changing thing. And so the ultimate reward of getting that done 1 week ago Tuesday was to get Clojure-MCP working. And I can't tell you how many times in the last couple of weeks I thought, God, wouldn't it be amazing if? And by the way, Bruce, I just want to articulate, like, one of the things that excite me most is the fact that anyone who's watched Claude Code, OpenAI Codex, Augment Code struggle to get balanced to parentheses files. I mean, it's painful. And the fact that you have like an S expression editor, I actually was going to write that as my first project after the book was done. And you have that working so that the LLMs have a natural way of surgically editing Clojure files.
Yeah.
If I understand that correctly, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. That's the idea. Yeah. And more, it's more, it just, I think in creating Clojure-MCP, I kind of realized you want like the tool examples out there, they're all toys, right? Like for MCP. Like if you want like high performance from, MCP tools, they've got to be strict in what they accept. They've got to say they're strict in what they accept, but then actually accept much broader inputs, right? And they have to be well validated. I mean, they actually have to be sophisticated if you want them to hit every time, right? If you want them to work and not just burn tokens because it didn't work on this, it didn't work on that, it didn't work on this. So anyway, I really beefed up the editing for Clojure. And yeah, and I put a lot of time in making sure that the edits just work. But it takes a stronger model, right? Like you can't, like right now it's got two types of editing, and one of them is by the top, one of them edits by top level values, right? Like top level expressions. So give it a function name, it'll give it a function name and a new definition, or a function name and insert before, function name insert after. By identifying these that's the normal thing you do when you edit Clojure anyway. And so by identifying the top level expression, it doesn't even have to match code, right? It's just give me a function name and a new definition. And so it's not matching parentheses. And then the new definition that comes in, it's going to have paren problems. It's just going to. And so, but it's indented correctly. So if you use parenfer, 99% of those parenthetical mistakes get eliminated. Just they're gone. But also, if you lint it, just to, like, if it's just bad, just send it back, right? You lint it, you find out it's parens, you fix the parens, you lint it again. If it's bad, you send it back with reasons why. Then and only then do you start like surgically putting it into the code using CLJ rewrite, right? And then after that, I just do a CLJ. Then I lint it again and do a CLJ format on the back end, right?
Oh, on your side
So
of the NCP server, it's doing all that work
it's
of
all
I
that.
think.
Just do it
Oh
all.
my God.
Just slam it so that you get an edit each time, right? Like
So you don't have to
just
like
want,
deal with the bad AI instruction following to like always lint after you make changes. Like that's all
yeah,
taken
yeah.
care of now?
It's all boom right in there. But I'm not linting the whole file.
Yeah.
I'm just linting oh yeah, I am linting. Yeah, I am linting the whole file. I'll take that back. Um, And then, so that's one form of editing. Another form of editing that's more targeted is like match, the match string editing, except with S expressions. So
Okay.
here's an S expression, replace it with this S expression. And that was also a lot of work to get right. It sounds easy. Oh my gosh, right? I just take an S expression and replace it. But it's super hard because they're reader expressions in Clojure, right?
Oh,
You've got, like hash functions, right? And you've got all these reader expressions, and they're not really S expressions, and they get expanded. And yeah, so you have to
wow.
actually do some work. You got to match strings, but they've got to be white space normalized and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all this stuff. So anyway, it was kind of a pain,
Oh my
but I
gosh.
got it working. Yeah. And so, yeah, just getting the editing working. But even the basic file editing, here's a file, the basic, here's a string match. Boom, boom. For Clojure files, it still balances the parentheses. It still balances the parentheses on the way out,
Hmm.
right? And so on the way out, it edits the file. On the way out, it balances, and
Okay.
then it lints, and then it formats, and then boom. So if it's a Clojure file, it'll do that. And
Awesome.
so, yeah.
Well, I guess, forgive me, I didn't think through this before our call, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what would be the best way to like kind of show off what you built? I mean, I think the desired outcome is like, I would love to get it running on my system. I still can't get MCP running even in Cloud Desktop. But like, would
Okay,
it be
well,
cool for you to
we'll figure
actually
this out.
do a demo first and then kind of like show us the big picture and show us what's possible? I saw the video that one of the
Vitar, yeah, somebody from
yes, I watched it
gosh,
last night.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I watched that last night. Yeah, so like, what would be the best way to sort of like kind of paint the big picture? Do you want to should I turn over to you?
So we could do that. I mean I should have prepared. Here's how.
Sorry.
Gene put you on the
No, no,
spot.
no.
You didn't need
How
to
you? Yeah,
prepare.
yeah. Like I can spin this up. But what do you think, Luke? I mean, we could give ourselves what? Let's time it at, no, to set you up. Let's time it at 5 minutes,
Five
Mhm.
six
minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
What do you think? And then if it we can't figure it out, then I'll do a demo.
Um,
Yeah.
I would counter propose. I think.
Okay.
How about you? Yes. Okay, you're right. How about I go first for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and maybe you can use that time to like get a
Run some
Set up
agents
a
in the background.
set up
Yeah.
a demo. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I can tell you exactly what my. Hopefully, this won't take too much of your attention. But yeah, let me share
Well,
my.
in the background, I mean, no, if you're going to share your screen, I can't in the background anything. I have to help you. What?
Yeah. Actually, low stakes. Let's we'll do whatever it takes to yeah,
Demo this. Let's
yeah.
negotiate more because that's what people like.
Well, I have a third proposal I'd like to put on the table.
Yeah. Actually, so do you want to try? Give
Yeah,
ourselves a few minutes?
sure
Yeah.
will. So and this will show you a little embarrassing, but I have no embarrassment about this.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So
This makes me feel better
yeah.
already.
By the way,
So
this is
yeah.
this might even be a project that I'll jump in to use Claude Code and Clojure-MCP in.
Sure.
Just to set some context, in the final 3 days of the book manuscript, here are all the sort of book commits. And
Yeah.
while doing that, I had churned out like 7,000 lines of Clojure code.
Yeah.
It's not quite true. I have a table somewhere, but it's like I think it's like 3,000 lines of code in 3 days.
Yeah.
Half of it tests, a lot of documentation. For it was for a markdown to. My goal was actually writing an MCP
Yeah.
for a book. So
Okay.
this was absolutely critical, and just showing that. And I just want a visualization to show that. So anyway, that's just happens to be on my monitor right now. And so I'm going to quit Claude Code. I'm going to quit Claude rather. And then
Bruce, had you tried to write a MCP server before? Was this like your first MCP?
Oh, it was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, like basically I wanted to just hook up a val and see what it did.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
just cut it loose.
Yeah, just what's it gonna do? And it performed so well with a val on its own. I was like, wow. It was so, yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, while Gene was getting set up, I can relay the other story I think that made it in the book, which was me setting part of like working on the CNC machine. I sort of like, you quickly realize that if you can set up feedback loops for the agents, like if they're able to, write code, test it, run it, debug it, and then go back to the start, you just can set them off and run them away. And I had, I taught it how to basically flash to the firmware directly over USB connection, and it was like, try this thing, then flash it, and then let me know, and then I'll push the button to see if something works. And I just saw this, just happened to turn back to the screen at a time where I saw the transcript flowing by, and it's like, it's still not working. This strongly suggests that some EEPROM variables have been corrupted, or maybe the SD card is corrupted. I'm going to perform a full factory reset on this thing. And I'm like, no, Control-C, Control-C. So whoa. Let's think about this a little bit. Stop and think.
Yes,
Think very hard about not erasing my firmware now, please.
Okay, so let me just see, you're putting this in, like you're running this with your project, or is this your Clojure depth, Eden? Your
Yes. Okay. Actually, so I just want to show you one thing first. So I have not been able to get any MCP servers to work ever. And it's all because of this.
In Claude.
That's the first goal. We got to get that.
I can't. That is small.
I can't. No,
no, don't worry about it. I can. No, don't worry about it. I can put my forehead up against the camera.
No. Here, hang on.
You should be able to do Command Plus in any of those, and it should bump the font size.
You would think, right, Luke?
That's fine. It's fine. I can see it. So what? what are we looking at? We're looking at your
This is the
log.
logs file for
Oh,
the
yeah. From the Apple system console.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And have you
Cannot
tried
find
like
node. Oh, yeah. This is
paste,
okay. Cannot find node path, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where's node for you? Which?
It better be opt. I mean, it better be this, right? Okay, so hang on. I've spent hours.
So if you say which node, right? If you say which node.
Yep.
All right, great. And then
And
yeah. And also if you like you want to make sure like here you have the path. And so one way I do this, and you'll see it, is I just do a bin shell C, right? And so then you're just the args, a bin shell is the command is bin shell, and then the first arg is -C, right? And then you're just dealing with text, and then
slash
you,
bin.
bin sh.
Yeah.
-C and
-C.
all the stuff in there.
And then it's basically a string from that, from that on. But it's fine. You should just be able to say MPXY. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this will work.
That will work.
Wait, when
You missed the bin.
Bin, yeah.
Homebrew bin. But it's not working inside Claude desktop.
Wait. Correct.
So yeah, so that whatever the environment is, right? When its environment is different, it's so when it looks up NPX, right?
Yeah,
it's not on a path, right? And so what you want to do is you want to update the path inside your command. And you can see an example of this in my README if you want something. Yeah, you can give the path, or give the direct path to NPX as well.
okay.
But
And this also worked. I'm sorry. This also hang on. Sorry.
give that a try. But the thing is your path is still not correct. Maybe
Really?
for well, just you want all of your homebrew bin to be available. Maybe, right? Not just, but yeah, for now, give this a try because you want to give it all the power in the world, right? When it runs a bash command.
Bin npx eno-int. That's different.
Yeah.
I've never seen that error.
It can't find. Wait, and you have more than one server in there, right? So you may want to comment one of them out, but anyway, or you can't comment it out because it's JSON. So yeah, just
okay. I am gonna. We have 3 minutes.
So yeah, again, here, like if you, okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that it didn't find your command, but again, I think you want to set up your environment correctly. And if you look at the README for Clojure-MCP, it'll give you an example of, okay, now scroll down to the Claude JSON. Okay, here I show you how to kind of set up. Now, don't worry about the CDing, like you don't necessarily need to do that. But I'm setting up the path, right? I'm setting up the path and then I'm calling it, right?
Golly.
And let's not worry about, yeah, you want to set up a path so we can find the Clojure bin, right? And that's all you need really. It's got to find the Clojure binary.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what
and other binaries as well. Like it wants to be, yeah.
I see.
Its path is
that.
yeah.
Okay, I now understand your DM. Okay, so can I do this in 2 steps? Let me use your
Sure, yeah.
trick.
I don't know what that is.
I wish I could turn off all this um all this autocomplete in Visual Studio Code. All right, let's see here. So, and this painting stuff, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I turn all that stuff off.
How do I do that?
Is it that's not cursor, is it? That's regular Visual Studio.
Yeah. Okay, can I give myself 7 more minutes?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this because this is, I mean,
Foundational.
so get rid of the CD. You don't need the CD because you don't have a Clojure-MCP directory, right? Yeah, bam.
Okay,
And then wherever yours is opt. Where's yours? Opt homebrew? No, it's
opt homebrew bin.
Well, do a which Clojure to make sure opt homebrew bin. Okay, great.
And that's the same
Great.
spot as.
Yeah. And you don't need the port on there, I don't believe. But let's keep it there for now. Why the heck not?
Actually,
All
can
right.
I propose? Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
save this. Can I propose we run the NPX here? I call this file system 2. Can I just see if I can get my file system to work?
Do you want to wait? So you want to get NPX working?
Yeah, as a first step.
As a first step. Okay. Yeah. So I would copy that. Yeah.
Let's call this Clojure-MCP. Is that what I call it?
Yeah. But you don't want to have servers that are breaking. Well, and hope the other one is going to start because.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
Clojure.
mean,
Okay, then you know what? I'm gonna get rid of these.
There's another way you can set all these paths for your launchd session, basically, when you log in as a user, if you want opt homebrew bin and all that kind of stuff in the path for everything that's launched by launchd, which would include claude.app and things like that, and cursor and VS Code. But let's keep going down this route.
Okay.
Maybe I can put that in the chat later.
That would be super helpful. Actually, I would like to know that.
Yeah. Okay, can I just leave this as is, Bruce?
That looks pretty good. Now now here's the problem. You do need to start an NREPL server.
Okay,
right?
So yep.
So in order for this.
So okay, I'm so ignorant about this. Okay, so I just copied.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. That's good. That should be good. So what you want to do is you have a project, you need a Clojure project that it's going to jack into.
Okay.
So you have to start an NREPL server for that project. And there's also code for that in my README as well. If you don't already have that available, like through line again or something like that. So it's yeah,
okay.
or yeah. So
stand by.
You could
stand by. So okay.
There, yeah, you can do that.
Server. So if I okay.
The only thing you're going to need to do if you do that is you want to copy your port over to your JSON file. But yeah, that'll work.
Stand by. Okay, just give me 1 second.
Man, I was way too optimistic. Do you have a small?
We're doing great.
Do you have a small product? Do you have a small project, or do you want to keep going?
I think we're good.
All right.
Okay, so I have okay, I'm starting up a REPL.
There you are. It does and it has a port.
Okay,
see that port?
Yep. Stand by.
Yeah.
Yes, 53759. Five, 3. Okay, Luke, I'm gonna. How do I disable all this?
Wait, it added a host. So yeah. Are you sure you don't have like cursor or something running? Because that's crazy.
No, it's called Code Paint or something. IDE brushes.
Yeah.
I could
anyway,
turn it off.
Yeah, you probably just have to go into preferences and search for it. I'm still relatively new to VS Code, and
I'm sure people want to see that.
It's annoying. I also end up having to
Yeah.
turn off Cursor's Copilot type thing because it's just so aggressive about like wanting to help, and
Yeah.
not the kind of help I
Uh-oh.
want.
Next, wait, non-white space.
What's that? What was that?
There's a formatting error.
Oh. And what's this global shortcut?
It was in there before.
Okay, well, yeah. There's a format like is that painted?
You can
There
do
you go.
format document. It looks like you've got an extra.
Yeah, you have an extra one at the end.
Yep.
Yay.
Insert closure joke there.
So yeah, maybe this was ambitious. Maybe
Wait.
disconnected. So it didn't work. So open the logs and what's it gonna say? It says, well, that's
No.
node path, the bottom of the log. Hopefully it will have it.
Oh, there you go. It started, but
What closed? Started? Wait, server started. Boom, 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 boom. Server transfer.
Wait. I know why. Because I didn't enable this alias, right?
You didn't. Oh, wait. No.
What?
No, it's not. Oh,
Oh,
wait. It said it connected. So MCP is running. Like that's what you're needing. Well, give it. So the MCP is a different process than the NREPL process, right?
Roger.
So the NREPL process doesn't need MCP,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But I don't know. I've never used. I don't know what that means. The enable it. Give it a try, I guess. But I don't think that's it. I think
Yeah.
it's closing because it didn't connect to the NREPL. I think that is what happened. It tried to open, and then it failed because it didn't actually connect to the NREPL, which is it.
Roger.
So here's what I would do.
Yes.
One more thing is go to your JSON, and this shouldn't go to your JSON, right?
Yep.
And wait, you changed that, yeah. Go to your depths Eden, and you know what? This isn't gonna work, but in your depths Eden, you've got 788 as a port, so you could just get rid
Oh,
of that real quick. That should be overridden. You commented out the whole line, so you don't want to do that. You only want to comment out. You comment the whole line, so the parens are unbalanced. Yeah.
oh no. It's that's
oh,
fine.
it rebalanced it.
It did?
He's got
Oh
some
yeah,
magic.
it did. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, well we can try again, but I don't know what's going on.
Are you using the same stack, Bruce? Like
Yeah,
the same
am I using
IntelliJ?
well I'm using yes the same stack. I've got Clojure. Everything is pretty much the same. The only difference actually is that I have the code in a directory locally.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's a difference there. You know, maybe there's an error. Clojure main. Well, that's interesting.
Actually, wait a minute. That just
So
was.
okay, well.
Oh wow.
So we're going to edit this video.
Yeah,
Because I will be happy to sort this out with you, if we want to take it offline.
all I can say is
Because
I am so motivated to make this work.
yeah, it should be easy to get working, but obviously it's not. Wait, that shot. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, it did that. You know that shot. Does that work? Latest. Does that like?
Stand by. I'm just Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to get back into a running
Yeah.
stage here.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. And
So the MCP was broken. So I bet you that the get SHA that says latest branch SHA, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah, because that's like
I don't even
suggesting
know
that you
how
should
to.
use the latest SHA as opposed to it being a
How do I
SHA.
even get the latest?
Sorry.
You should be able to, oh, once a SHA, right? It doesn't want to tag. Probably
Well,
takes
you
a
can
bit
take a tag. I have no tags yet. This is alpha. So
Bruce, you have given
this
so
is
many people
so
in the
alpha.
world like this is like not a problem.
Headaches? Like lots of
No.
headaches.
Okay, that worked. That worked.
Okay, that may have been the problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
that seems
understand
very-
how it even started. I don't understand how it said it started. Okay, whoa, I have this feeling. What? Whoa.
disconnected again.
Okay, I'm gonna put this into a bigger window here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's different this time.
Is likely to the process exiting your. Oh wait, do you still have your NREPL servers running?
Actually,
It is running, correct? Yeah, it says running. At
is it?
port 5573. Is it a different port now, though?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Wait, did you stop it? Or is it still running?
Yeah. I
Okay.
stopped.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is set you up so you can run it on a single port number so you don't have to keep doing this. Oh, for goodness sake. Really? My God, what is going on? Transport closed.
So it's being closed on no function
Likely to. Yeah,
found on
it's
command line.
it's just dying, but I'm sure it's working on the command line.
So do I do?
Let's run it on the command line. No, let's just run it on the command line.
Oh,
Like let's just run the command on the command line. Yeah. We should have done that first.
oh.
Wait. What was failing there?
It says
The
Contain an
depths
even
is
number of literals.
Oh, there we go.
oh shit. Yeah. There we go. Wait, is that right?
Okay, let's again. That's not right. That's
There we go.
Is anybody else? Is this live or we're just recording this, right?
Thousands of people are watching at this point.
Okay.
That looks like it, yeah.
I'm gonna pick my nose. Sorry. Now that I know it's not live. Okay, so this all makes sense now.
Okay. Okay. Give me 1
What
second. Wait,
so they all like
I feel like there's like a setup script or something that could be useful here to, point it at your dep seed and point it at the agent you want to use or something.
Yeah.
Just for all the ports and other doodads.
Yeah, well, the thing is I like for now I'm trying to have people just
Kick the tires.
just stick one port,
right.
and then you start up an NREPL server. Like one port, and then you just start the NREPL server at that port for whatever project. So you just go into your project directory, start an NREPL, and if you want to run a couple, then that's kind of up to you. It would be I'm anyway. Okay, what do you do now?
Did you mean to have that one still running?
Yeah,
Okay,
so it did not connect to your NREPL. It didn't connect to your NREPL.
Wrong port.
Yeah. Okay, great. That means it's running because it's giving JSON RPC. So this is, just to be clear, this is a standard IO server. It runs on the command line and it talks through standard in and standard out, just to just to be clear. And
Roger.
it is talking on standard out right now. So you can kill this, right? And then just make sure the JSON has the right port for now. Make sure the Claude desktop JSON has the right port in it.
Yeah, negative on that. 565 56615
That's right.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
All right. So now we cross the
no,
finish.
no, it didn't work.
No. What do you mean it didn't work?
You gotta,
No,
I
you
think
gotta.
you had one running in the background before. So
Yeah,
if
you had one. No, go ahead and kill Claude.
yeah, kill that and
Kill
start it
Claude.
again.
It's the only time where it's appropriate to say that. Oh, come on.
Dude, I've tried. I've
Seriously.
uninstalled Claude Desktop.
Let's.
I cannot figure out why it just doesn't work.
Okay, well, we're getting close. So, and your REPL is still running, correct?
Yeah, Roger that. One proof would be this will
To
run.
rerun this. Yeah. We're
And
so
by the way,
close.
I'm not frustrated at all. I'm just sorry to be wasting your time, but it's like I want this to run
Oh,
so
no, I'm fine. I don't know. Yeah, I'm fine.
bad.
I don't know what you guys are doing today.
I need to get the most killer thing running.
I mean, once it runs, it'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. It'd be so funny if it wasn't. It was just like, oh, this is kind of lame.
Actually, it's like the parentheses are totally wrong.
Yeah.
So Luke,
what did the log say? What did the log say?
I appreciate your persistence.
You know what? Blow away your log folder and then restart Claude again, just so we see because it's dumping 3 different logs and one of those.
No, you can hit clear. You can just hit clear, right? As well.
Yeah, that'll work too.
But yeah.
Clear.
Although, yeah, right there, there's a clear button.
Right.
Kabam. All right.
Unless the failure is in one of the other log files it's dropping.
Yeah. As long as the unREPL. There we go. Okay.
Then it dies.
It dies. And it died for, I keep doing this with my forehead.
No function found on command line or an exec FN.
No function. Okay, so
that sounds Clojure-y.
No, so what's happening is we're calling XMCP, correct? But it's not finding it, right? Like XMCP, you're calling it, and you're saying it's in your global depths.
No. It's in my project depths.
It is in your project depths.
You do need that CD.
So yeah, put that CD into your project. Yes.
Oh. Yeah. By the way, I don't actually have a global. I've never figured out how to.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Oh man, this helps to have smart like this.
I was assuming you were operating from the global. So I would have mentioned that. I would have let you keep it on there.
This works.
I think we're there. It's done.
Hey.
Oh my God.
What? No way.
Hey, look at that.
Okay, so now here, I'll show you a couple things and that just to verify.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So you're hooked up, right?
Okay.
And you're jacked into your code base, right? Through a REPL.
Yeah, actually, can we just pause for a second? By the way, amazing. Thank you. So so one little surprise to me already is that all your desktop, all the MCP servers are active. I thought I would have to manually give it permission to would you like to use your Clojure-MCP thing? No, it's automatically on.
Yeah, as long as as automatic as the experience we just had.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay. Yeah, got it.
So yeah. Now that I've seen the experience that people are having when they try to wire this up. Anyway, that aside, now, okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on, just 1 second.
Sorry,
No,
I'm
no,
so
no.
excited.
So go to the plus. You have a plus and a settings thing, right? Yeah, yeah. Go there. Go to the bottom. Go to see the from Clojure-MCP, right? Click on that. Now, go to Clojure project info. So no, you'll see one that says Clojure project info. Go down farther, up
Uh,
one. You see it's underneath Claude.md.
oh,
Now that is a resource. You see the icons there, those are resources. And if you have a README, it'll pull it in. And if you have now Clojure project, you just click on it. Yeah. Now read it.
Oh, nice.
ah, cool.
So
Okay, got
this
it.
is basically the project structure.
Yeah, so what it is it just you have a REPL connected. So I just have this, I just introspect the REPL, right?
And is that a live resource? So if you
It,
re-added that to the prompt, will it?
it's a live resource.
Great.
It ships code over the REPL
Mm-hmm.
to gather up info, brings it back, and then makes a report out of it. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so normally I start a session by adding that as well. Okay, now go ahead and close that,
Huh?
and then go back to the plus symbol again, and then click out. Let's look at a prompt real quick. See, create project summary. Create project summary. It's okay. Look at that now. Look at that, and it's just instructions for. So you could just run this, right? And then it'll kind of make a Claude code for you, a Claude MD
I
for
love
you.
the capital letters.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. So it'll make a Claude MD like file for you, or if you already have a Claude MD, you can just import it right with the
Oh,
in the same way. So yeah, well that might take a
yeah. Actually,
moment
how
or
do
two.
you just said something interesting that like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That you're gonna want to hit, yeah. So it's gonna start reading files and it doesn't exist, and then it's gonna start like exploring your project. It's reading the
Just
deps
actually real quick.
file, and it's just gonna go through all these things. Um, and it'll basically create a story about your project and that it can read. So this is just a prompt. Basically, what I'm showing you is that an MCP server uh, can serve prompts, and those prompts are parameterized. Like you can create prompts that take parameters, and when you click that plus and add the prompt, and if it takes parameters, it'll present you with a form to fill out. You can say, you can make your own prompt, and yeah, you can fill in the parameters in the desktop, right? In other MCP clients do not normally support that level of interaction with their prompts. It's just not that widely supported
Oh,
yet.
and so this is why both Luke and I use Claude Code a lot. And
Yeah,
so this is why you recommend Claude Desktop being kind of a legit client, MCP client.
yeah, yeah. I really do. I think it's a very nice client. It's pretty. Hey,
Yeah.
but Claude Code, right, it's code specific, right? So it can do things where like where it renders its own tools and make
Yeah.
decisions about how they're rendered, right? Whereas has a generic rendering of tools and stuff.
Yeah.
But I
Actually,
find
real
that,
quick, Bruce,
yeah,
one thing that I was a little stunned by is, Luke, I'm not sure if you know this, but Claude Code defaults to Opus.
Mm-hmm.
I said if you're on the max plan, basically it's using Opus all the time until you hit some
yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah,
limit. I've only hit it once.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. I use Opus.
Yeah.
There's no speed difference, and
It's a lot
if
better, I
Sonnet
think.
was faster, then I'd say, well, maybe use Sonnet for things that. But since if you're on the max plan, use Opus. It's yeah, it handles things just right. So anyway, it's finally writing out your project summary. And you can read that afterwards. Um,
It's much
and this,
nicer than like the other, like if you just have this running, if you ask it basically to do the same tasks without these MCP hooks, then you get to have a lot of fun watching its transcript be something like, and now I'm going to try and read this file. Oh, I can't read this file. That's okay. I'll use sed or I'll use grep. And
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God,
exactly.
why are you doing that? Whereas here it's just going bang, read the file, bang, read the file, and it's successful every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, all
Actually,
right.
could you
So,
explain that joke to me? I'm not sure if I quite got that, Luke.
Oh, basically, you sort of, maybe I see this in cursor more often, but it'll try and execute tools. The execution will fail for some reason. Sometimes you'll see like a model passed incorrect parameters to tool or something, or it
Yeah.
like gets confused about what directory it's in, or something happens, and you see it sort of like progressively fall back to weirder and weirder things,
Yeah.
including like,
yeah,
it can't edit. Editing files is another case where it can't edit the file, so it's like bangs out a sed command
Yeah, right,
instead of using
right.
its own internal tools because they didn't work. And I'm just observing here that it's just going tool, and it's just like working every time. And in a long sequence like that, I would normally expect to see one of the tools fail and it fall back to something wacky.
yeah,
So I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah, exactly. So, so so I had a thought, like just to give you an introduction to this. Is there an algorithm? Is there something algorithmic in your project where you'd like to kind of edge test? You'd like the AI to like poke at it from different directions in the REPL.
Can I show you what I've been working on? I was thinking about like a project that
Sure.
like I could bring to you. So
Wait,
this,
is it? But we're jacked into a project right now.
yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. Great.
So all of this is done in Streamlit using Plotly. And I've never until
Okay.
this weekend, I've never used Streamlit or Plotly before.
Okay.
So,
Great.
I'm if I could wave back one, what would be super cool is for it to be able to look in the analysis directory, which is where all the Python scripts are, and essentially do a Clojure port, a port to Clojure.
Okay. But
Uh,
that's cool. But you're not using the REPL, right? Like,
that's true. I was thinking about that
yeah,
last night. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's cool. But translation is a different thing than coding, right? Like so I totally advise you to do that. But if you want to like see how, like, and this will do that. This is basically Claude code, right? For Clojure. Um,
You wanted to
Yeah.
basically draw some sort of diagram, right? Can
Well,
you
in fact,
pop?
it's funny you mentioned that. I have can I tell you a little story? It just finally
sure.
triggered last night. I know yesterday I was driving to Costco and I felt like got hit by a bus, but I opened up voice mode in ChatGPT. I'm like, what would be something magical to experience in Clojure-MCP? Something that could only be experienced in a REPL. So it's been sort of rattling around the back of my head. So the whole reason why I wrote this, uh, oh, where is that window? Where did that window go? The reason why, this project is actually a markdown to tree parse of
Yeah.
work. And I wanted to actually write an MCP server for my book. So I could say, open up this part or read this chapter or read this section,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
omit
yeah.
the introductions and its conclusions. And I actually wanted to, I was actually looking for a blog post. The reason why I wrote it was to write a visualization for um, I wanted to write, sorry, source code visualization. So I wanted to
Oh, yeah.
I actually wanted to write something. The goal was I had to transform a markdown document into a tree. And if I could make it look like a
Yeah.
tree, and I could project it into a files and directories,
Yep.
I could check in the Git, and then I could visualize it. Anyway, so
Yeah.
maybe something like that. I would like to, I want to, now that I have it in a tree, I would like to be able to render a tree. And I've never, so in a REPL, I would love to actually sort of say, now that I have a tree data structure, render a tree, which I've never actually done before.
So oh, you mean render graphically, render a tree graphically,
or an ASCII art.
or an ASCII art. Okay.
Yeah.
So sure. So like, are you jacked into the project that you want to
I
do
am.
this with?
Yeah.
Okay. And all right. And do you have yeah. So how would I don't know anything about your code structure or
Yeah. So
anything.
here's the data structure right now. It's like a giant.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I would start there. I would have it I would have it load this file and then look at your book.
Okay, so here's the namespace. Oh, wait. Namespace, current namespace.
Book
current
book
names.
chapter nav.
Yeah. So, oh, this is so interesting.
So just have it load. So say you want to, how about this? Yeah, tell it you want to, yeah, load. Well, say you want to look at the data in the book var.
No way.
And
Are you getting this? What the heck?
boom, it's done, right? So it's happening. So I was like trying to figure out how to tell you. Now, so I created a bunch of tools. So I was like, I created a bunch of tools in addition, like in the eval tool, so it can do stuff like that.
Right.
All right, so boom, you're there. So now you can ask it to look at the book. Yeah, look at it.
How strong is the association between like the prompt and the fact that it's going to use a particular
Look what it's
tool?
doing. Look what it's doing. Did you see it? It was getting the keys.
Yeah, actually, I was.
Like, let's just follow it. Look at your next two evaluations.
Keys. Actually, I'm not quite oh, this is the full.
That's the result. So what happens is, like, initially, this is a good thing we're doing this. Initially, the response looks like that. In a minute or two, it's going to render that as text. I don't know why there's a delay like that. But yeah, there it is. You see it rendered as text.
I see.
Now look at the response there.
The response
Yeah.
is
No, I'm just
now
trying. I'm following along here.
What's going on?
Oh, see now.
So yeah, again, look, see now it's rendering. It renders initially as JSON and then it renders as text.
They got some lazy sort of
yeah
process on there.
Okay, so now it gives you a summary of what it's learned about the book variable.
Which is actually, can we just pause for a second? I'm just actually
sure.
following along here. What is CNAV and book? Is that the alias?
Okay, so CNAV, it just gave it an alias to the namespace.
So, and if I go class book, I'm just repeating this work here. It's
it should be a map, right?
Outline book.
Oh no, you actually have a book. It has a class.
I have no idea. No, it's actually oh my God, this was AI generated, so I don't actually know what it is. It's oh my God, it's I never would have guessed this.
Well, they make a protocol, right? They made a def record. There you go.
No shit, which is like a map, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah. It's a map. It's a typed map. So that's fine.
I had no idea.
The things you learn when AI introspects its own code. So so now it's learned about it.
So you can tell it to format it.
Yeah, tell it in the REPL to experiment with different ways of formatting it so that people can understand the structure. Does that make sense? Experiment with different.
And I was asking you before, do you find it always like picks up and uses the tool, or does it sometimes not realize that there's an operation it could have done with the tool and it should have used the tool? Like it should have used Clojure eval, but it's trying to do something else, or is it pretty reliable?
So yeah, one thing we didn't do, we didn't include, like, in our haste to get going, we didn't include the system prompt that yeah, in the plus, but don't worry about it right now. It's working fine.
It
So
seems to
no,
have
like I would
died.
say that Claude, I don't know how much you've used Claude 4 Opus. Claude
Mhm.
4 Opus is a monster at using these tools. It's
It's
just,
I found it a lot better at like following instructions. Like
yeah,
O3 is absolutely the worst. Like if I tell it, don't forget to run unit tests, don't forget to do
yeah,
this, it'll just declare victory and I'll be like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't do the you didn't read any of
No,
my
yeah,
instructions.
exact. Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this okay?
No, it's
Hey,
really good. I found the same thing. What? Yeah. Let's see.
sorry. I
I'm
said,
looking
hey,
for,
I'm looking for different ways to experiment with the structure of the book, especially on visualization. What would be a great start would be even an ASCII art representation in of a tree. Is that
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's, you'd be surprised. You could cough and it'll know what you mean.
Yeah.
So,
You could
I'm
probably
sorry, I
just
didn't mean to say
say
hey to you guys. I meant hey to Claude.
yeah, 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 yeah.
you could probably just say
Um,
viz question mark and it will likely do the same thing. It, it
so
sort of
now you see
infers.
how it's working in the REPL, right? It's like it's gonna say, hey, how do I work with this data?
Oh
And it's
yeah, look at
gonna
that.
try different experiments, right? Um, it's making a function. All right. So it's not going straight to the file. It's not writing files immediately
Yeah.
and
Right.
creating all kinds of artifacts. And like you'll be able to look at the output.
Oh, dude, my projects are just littered with turds,
Yeah,
artifact
yeah.
turds of like test
Oh my
things that have
God.
been created, ping files that it's rendered. I'm like,
Is
oh, I
it?
gotta clean
Oh,
all this up.
yeah, I'll show you mine. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
what the
So
hell
I
is all
want
this
to.
stuff?
So another thing that I want to show you that's really cool about the UI while we're waiting for him to do his work
Yeah.
is go back down to the settings, the settings underneath your reply to Claude there. There's a plus and then there's the settings. Now click on the closure. Yep, click on that. You
Oh,
can
yeah, look
turn
at that.
off edit. Right here, you
Mm,
can turn off closure edit, closure. You
nice.
can turn off those 4 edit tools and you're just working in the REPL,
Yeah,
right? So you can change the character of what it's doing
yeah.
by just restricting it.
This is a
So
it's a little bit like Cursor has different modes where you can basically set up basically one of the models with a different custom prompt and turn off access to sort of
yes,
certain tools, but this is a lot more convenient when you're in Claude Desktop for sure.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
I just realized something. Yeah, I only learned this the other day. I can hit Control N.
Well, to
So I can
insert
actually have
something.
so I was wondering if I can actually have multiple concurrent sessions going. And
You can just
Oh,
do
for a new
command.
window.
You can do
Oh,
Command N and just pop a whole new window off to the side and do the same thing. Yeah,
yeah, wait, Meta
can
Command
N.
you?
N. Yeah.
Well, let's not destroy what we're doing, but
No, no, it will
just
actually run it concurrently. I just but and then you can
I'm gonna check that out myself because that sounds really cool.
because I want
Uh,
one running at a time, right?
okay, so it abruptly ended.
It looked like a time. Might have gotten a bit confused. Yeah, if you just do
No,
Command
no,
N, it will
actually,
pop a
what
whole
you
new
can
one.
say continue or wait, let's see what it did. Like let's see what the final output of that eval was. Because
But
I
it
think it
didn't.
actually it
Oh,
just
it's just
died
still running
during.
code.
And in fact, I
Oh
think
yeah,
it
yeah,
run
yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, I think it has to start again. And because it
Oh, is it because it depleted the output context window?
no, no, it's because and like it's just the stream stopped, right? Like Anthropic is streaming back tokens to you.
Yeah.
And it will stop for any number of reasons. One is overloaded.
Hmm.
Two is just it just stops with a message that says message, like it just forgets its last, it just doesn't make it to the very, very end. And another good one is it'll just stop and give you no context,
Yeah, I've
or yeah, yeah.
seen. So you could potentially mitigate some of that by changing the prompt to tell it to like cut out comments in these test programs just to cut down the number of tokens and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. So it
yeah.
runs a
So
little bit
it
longer.
is based on what you're saying, it is partly a function of the output context
Hmm.
limitation.
It could be any of those things.
Yeah, yeah. So if you look at the closure eval, like let's go to that last eval and see what it did.
Ooh. Oh. my, that's, oh, ooh. Oh,
And keep going, keep going. Keep
yeah.
keep scrolling there.
Oh,
It,
oh,
it, it gives you a lot of different visualizations
oh
and
my.
reports. Yeah.
Please, show all tree levels for the first 15 chapters.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
That's great.
let me just sort of process what I'm seeing. So I mean, this is great. I mean, like one of the reasons why I really liked OpenAI Codex is the fact that it kind of runs in a remote container
Yeah.
and it doesn't
Yep.
check anything in. So all the little crap files that Luke was talking about, it just never makes it into your directory, let alone
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
um so
It finished, by the way, if you want to
ooh,
look at the output. You can also tell it to put the output in a code block as well.
ooh, like in an artifact window.
Yeah, yeah. Put the output in a code block or an artifact window. A code block is in line, an artifact is obviously off to the side. But code block is a little more quick. But yeah.
So
Okay, I'll do
if
code
you
block.
if we popped open another Claude window, it's going to have access to the same MCP, right? And it's probably going to see the same REPL.
It'll be talking to the same REPL, meaning that
Yeah.
they're sharing state, right?
Yeah.
So uh yeah, for right now, that's what it's like. Uh,
Give that a try, Gene. Do like file new window or command N and give it a follow-up command and
Look at
yeah.
that. So that's really fun,
This
though,
is
like
effing
what it's
awesome.
doing.
This is so great. Oh my gosh.
That's
Okay.
rad.
So
So
we're
again, no
pause.
code was written, right? Now you can look back at what it's done. Yeah. So now no code has been written. You can look back at what it's done and the different ways it's looked at it. You can think about it and you can actually converse with it about it, right? And once you've done that, then you can start thinking about what kind of code you want to be written. Like now you're like, you've got these options, you've thought more about it, you've had exposure. Like this ideation is happening apart from your code, right? It's happening completely. And so, and it has a great memory of the code it's written and the strategy it's used so far. And so you can look at this and say, well, what do I want? You know, what do I want? Or you can bring in a data visualization library, a graph library, or something like that, and start working with that. But there's no, yeah, what, so this kind of shows what it can do if it's just jamming on a simple prompt that you've asked
Yeah,
it.
actually, can
And
we just pause for a second?
yeah, yeah, sure.
So um
That's a much larger artifact than we were expecting.
yeah, yeah. So I think this is great. This is
Yeah,
amazing. This is amazing. Um I create a file. A file, I think something like source viz something dot clj. Put
yeah,
new
You're putting so much faith into the LLM, but
yeah, yeah,
put the function new functions there and
yeah,
replicate and put stuff in a comment block
yeah. So
at the
that you can
bottom
execute it. Yeah.
so I can replicate what you did.
Well, so you can eval what you replicate. Let's see how it responds.
Okay, so I can
Yeah,
stop this
yeah.
now.
can you bring in, it's been a while since I played with depths, Clojure depths, but can you bring in dependencies dynamically now? Or will that require a REPL restart?
There's something actually like it's
Ad
actually
libs.
in Clojure. Yeah, it's in Clojure itself. It's called adlib. I need to
Okay.
actually add that to the prompt.
I've
So
used it like
other
3 times and I've always forgotten. That's like so it
yeah,
takes
yeah,
like
yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes for me to look up.
Because you could try like
But
tell it to make a Sankey diagram and add any libs that you need
yeah,
to do that and see what it does.
Yeah. And another thing, so yeah, you can add, but first you got to teach you how to add a lib. But another thing I want to note about the desktop is it does have search built in, right?
Hmm.
So you have a wide search is
Yeah.
part of the tools that are available to it here, right? So you
Yeah.
can
I
you
mean,
can actually have it.
it'll probably do a search, right? It'll probably go off and find the Clojars or the whatever to.
It's not as proactive in search, like so.
Mm.
That's where O3 and Gemini really shine in their UIs, right? Is
Right.
that they're extremely proactive when it comes to search.
Yeah.
Claude seems less so.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
But you were going somewhere with that, Bruce. What were you saying?
Oh, just that. Uh, what was I just what I said?
Yeah.
No, just that search is available. So
Ah,
if you want, you're not like we're used to being kind of uh, not being able to reach for external resources when we're using
Hmm.
these tools. But here you actually could say, hey, can you look up on GitHub the API for blah, 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 blah,
Right.
right? You can, yeah, you could do that because, again, search is part of this UI. It's part of the tools available. Yeah. So
okay.
it wrote a file.
Okay,
So
please
now,
do wait, sorry, just on biz.main.
sure.
And is it going to do that with like a tool in the Clojure-MCP, or do you think it'll fall back to just
No,
persistent? Yeah,
I
it's
created a
persistent.
bash tool so
Oh,
that
okay. Yeah, yeah, nice.
Always allow, why not?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, I created a bash tool, but the thing is it what we didn't yeah, one there's kind of an allowed directories things to with like scans. But other thing, the bash tool, so I made it so that you only have to sandbox. Like if you want to sandbox, and you should sandbox, right? If you want to
Yep.
sandbox, you only have to sandbox the NREPL process because all eval and all bash calls are shipped to the NREPL
Right.
process, right? So it makes it a lot easier that you don't have to sandbox the whole MCP server. But the
Yeah.
MCP server is editing files, right?
Yep.
And stuff like that, but it's just less critical than,
You can only do it through the whatever permissions the REPL itself has to work with.
yeah. Yeah, well, like the MCP server itself does have direct access and it doesn't go through the NREPL.
Oh, I see.
So it has direct file system access.
Okay.
But so it can mess up your file system. Only, but it doesn't have remove. Like remove is not part of it. So it can only edit files, right? It's not part of its lexicon. Um, and it's restricted to your working directory
Mm.
for all these file because this is not this is not an evaluation language. It's like file edit has a specific path, and so if
Hmm.
that path is outside of the working directory, then so it is sandboxed itself, and then the nREPL would need to be sandboxed to sandbox eval. Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
This
I mean,
is
like
okay, that was
so. Yeah. So that's great. So now this is the thing. I we haven't edited a file yet
no.
with my Clojure tools. Like we just haven't done it. We're into this like how long, and we haven't edited a file.
Well, we've got a file we can edit now. What make some
Yes, we
changes to this
can.
one?
So let's ask it to edit something in this file, please. Um,
Yeah, stand by.
I've found like using cursor, I'm very religious about if I reach a checkpoint and it works, do a git commit because
yeah. So you
um,
don't have to commit. Just ask it to commit your code. Just say, please commit this, and
mhm.
it'll make a message. So what are
yes,
you
no, it's
thinking?
true. It's true.
What are you thinking, G?
Oh, no, because that's one thing I won't let Claude Code do is commit because that's my only like safety check, right? So, but I think I would do it allow once
Mhm.
Yeah,
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 because
would
yeah.
be the command.
actually, can I just vent for a second?
Yeah.
One of the things I loved about um IntelliJ has a plugin, an AI plugin where it writes Git commit messages really fast. Trouble is I have to use their UI.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I just got tired of it. And
their
now
Git
I'm back
commit.
to shit, like
Yeah.
two word commit messages.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah.
So
So I
So
don't
hey,
like waiting.
yeah, did you already commit this? You did already commit
I
this.
did. I did.
Okay, great.
Um,
So let's edit something. Let's edit something. So it again, we don't have to. Let's just pick something like
yeah,
you can
I got you.
have it.
I have something.
Or you don't
Yeah.
have to copy paste anything. Just
yeah.
describe to it what you
No,
want.
in this case, I think you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
This offends me. Uh, um, instead of printing, return a string and I'll print it.
Bruce, are you saying you can do something different instead of copy and paste? Like there's a different way to get it to.
You just tell it what you want. Just say, I don't like using doseek. Can you refactor doseek? Or I don't need print messages in my comment blocks. Okay. By the way, comment blocks are the hardest thing it has to edit. So it has to fall back to file editing for comment blocks.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
let's
Say that again.
operate.
Why is that?
Because comment blocks are not like it. Actually, you can use. You know what? Wait a minute. You do not have my Clojure prompt in here.
Okay.
So you okay. If you
Should I
go,
stop it?
yeah. Um,
Or should we just wait and see what happens?
just let's let it finish. But
And then after it
comment
finishes,
blocks are huge.
open a new window and try and continue it from
Yeah,
there
yeah,
and see that it's
exactly,
got all
exactly.
the context.
Okay. Which one is it?
Because it's gonna struggle. But you're gonna open a new window first. Like I would just
Yeah, command N.
let's see what happens.
Is it not
Well,
opening
actually,
a,
let's just see what it's doing, and it's
it
yeah,
should
this
open
is
a
not.
totally fresh, like separate window. When I do that on my quad, it just pops a totally separate window.
Yeah. Okay. Which file should I bring in?
So bring in your project summary. It's almost the last one.
Oh yeah.
I think we might have lost your microphone, Bruce.
Bring in what?
Oh yeah. We can't hear you.
I think your microphone might have
Popped off my shirt.
gone out to lunch.
Oh, you sound really good on that mic. And then what's this prompt you use?
Then you see the Clojure REPL system prompt. It's the top one, yeah. And then the info as well, like the project info. I just right now it's just because everything it's underneath Claude. Yeah, boom.
Is there a reason for why some are
Yeah, those are prompts and those are resources. Those are files. Some are prompts, some are files.
these are files and these are resources. Okay, got it.
It's doing a lot of work. I would maybe look at what it's doing.
We can see what it's doing.
Because
Seems a little bit busy.
Oh my.
yeah, it's changing all the doseeks in there and making it so everything is returned as a string, which you do want, right? You want all these functions to, but the thing is it's using file edit to do it. And that's, that's not what we wanted to demonstrate at all.
Wait, I thought
is
that
it?
was what we're going to demonstrate. No?
No, you want to demonstrate Clojure edit. File edit is a fallback if it can't do anything else. But anyway, all these edits worked.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
we
Actually, I did not follow that.
we don't know if those edits worked. We should maybe look at that.
Okay, stand by. Describe my project in 5 sentences. Okay, and then this should.
And then wait for me.
Yep. Oh. Wait.
Then wait for me, not like describe it. Yeah, but so it's actually a new it's just a new session.
Yeah, wait.
So it
and it's
doesn't do it
running
in does it do it in parallel? Because I realized on my Claude, I'm not using Claude desktop. I've got like a web
Yeah,
kind of
so
like a frame.
Yeah, I've never actually tried to run these in parallel.
Yeah.
Mostly because they're jacked into the same project. And so, okay, so now let's real quick look at those files. Oh, what you looking at?
Okay, now I just want to confirm it compiled. Is it compiled? Okay, yeah. Actually,
So you can, so yeah, like if you use the Clojure prompt, it has things about there. Once you've edited a file, load it in the REPL, make sure it loads. It has stuff like that. And then, so if we go to the other conversation,
Sam, I
yeah,
want to put that in right now. Clojure
oh, you
system
want to look at it?
right here.
Yeah. You can look at it by clicking on it.
Nice.
And so this is cribbed from another, yeah, like I followed some. Okay, so now if you look at the other project, great, you got your 5 sentences. So now, it'd be nice for it to now you should be able, like if you edit the book function and say you want it to say, you don't want it to say book depth tree, you want it to say book depth report. You want the depth tree to have a different name, like just tell it to give it a different name, something
Okay,
so we can
like
demo.
here.
Yeah,
You're saying
yeah, just tell it you don't want it to say book depth tree. You want it to say, I don't know, book report.
and I'm just type what you said.
Oh yeah. And you have to tell it, no. Yeah, no. You have to tell it the file you want to, like we're in a different, since we're in a different context, it doesn't know what file is under focus, right? So tell it in biz in
I
book.viz.main.
believe that Claude can do this.
Yeah, it can. It's going to, because
Okay.
that
Could you just repeat something you said that I found very startling?
no, that's fine. He found it. Never mind. Claude
Yeah.
found it.
You said that we're using file edit, which is a fallback for Clojure edit. I found that very surprising. What are we?
So go ahead. Oh, so go ahead back down to your settings. Yeah, and then you can look at the list of tools.
Yeah.
And you've got Clojure edit, replace S expression, and then you have file edit, and then you have file write. And they kind of like, they're prompted to behave as a hierarchy, where
Yeah.
Clojure edits first, S expression editing is second, and then file write.
So we're using file write, the vulgar.
Yeah, that's just file write is like when it's greenfield, right? And then file edit is when it exists.
Yeah.
But here, so now ask it to change the book tree depth name in the file.
Are you saying the function name or the string in the function?
Yeah, see, he's like, I found it. He found where it is.
Yeah.
Right. And
Bruce,
now
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we renaming a function, or are we just changing a string inside the function?
You want to just change the string inside the function is our example. I'm sorry.
Go for it. Go for it. Let's do number change string to number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you would expect us to use Clojure edit, not file, right?
That is correct.
And because we didn't load the prompt before.
Exactly. See, now look at how, I also want to show you how read file is working here.
Yeah.
Always
Replace
allow.
S expression. No kidding. All right. Depth tree.
And it probably did the replace S expression because we're talking about a comment, right? You said comments were.
Okay, so now let's look at specifically at the read file right after you said go for it.
Did you just see that?
Yeah. So go right at the go for it. If you go back to your first read file.
Yep.
Now go to the read file there. Yeah, look at it. Say it just reads a file, give it a path. But look at the file. Look at it. So if you read file for a Clojure file, by default, it goes to an overview.
Yeah.
Okay, saving tokens, right?
Yeah.
And now look at the next read file. But look at the command.
Nice.
Now look at the
Ah.
command. Go back and look at the command. It says, no, go scroll up. Look at it. It
There you
says
go.
pattern depth tree.
Nice.
And so
Yep.
then you scroll down, it includes it in context. And it can have it'll or as many names in that pattern as it needs to look at as many different functions. So it can expand all of those and close them just like you would in an editor. All
That's
right.
great.
And then go down to Clojure, edit, replace S expression. Yeah. So the last one, because the first one didn't work. So let's look at the last tool execution.
Wait, I'm sorry. What didn't work?
The one before, like if you look at those two, yeah. So it did that.
Oh, right.
It couldn't find it. So it said, well, let me do this. And I think it just didn't quote it. Yeah, it just used the first one, it didn't quote it as a string.
It's so stupid.
So it quoted it and made it a proper S expression, and then it was replaced
that is
as
so
an S expression.
New format. Got it. So this is the old form
Yep.
expression, I guess, and then this is a new one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's cool.
And
Oh my God! Congratulate Bruce. You have saved Clojure programmers everywhere.
but we still haven't done a whole function level edit. But anyway, yeah, it goes on. It gets better than this.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you could try
actually, wait. I have one.
Wait, what were you going to say, Luke? Oh,
something. I mean, the first thing that leaps to mind to me is something like change this file to use transducers everywhere.
Oh yeah,
like that, yeah. Because I heard they're great, and all my code should be transducers.
So what do you do? What are you asking me to do?
No, in fact, I have a transformation.
Okay, sure.
But you should be able to describe the transformation without like quoting all that text, exactly. Right? So try avoiding the copy and paste.
Like, oh, come on, man! Just
let him do what he wants to do.
He's a kid in a toy shop here, so.
But I just don't know more efficient. It's like 3 keystrokes. Control W.
Yeah, exactly.
You've become acclimated to it now, copying and pasting everywhere.
Yeah.
Actually, just maybe just to reflect on that. Here's pause. Like, is there really a more efficient way to convey what I wanted? Then
well, you could say I prefer. You could fix, but the thing is, you could fix the whole file if you say there's another one right above it. You could fix the whole file by saying I prefer to use the Clojure threading macro. Can you look for opportunities to use the Clojure?
Yeah. I mean,
so did it use Clojure edit to do that?
Oh,
yes.
No, it used S expression. So what happened is now it is in a groove. It's kind of in a rut.
Well, you can tell it. You could tell it to use that tool.
You can tell it to use the tool, but it's fine. That's correct. But there's another tool called Clojure edit, and that's just I wanted to demo it.
I'm sorry. Wait. You're saying there's Clojure edit expression, and there's
Clojure edit S expression or edit.
Oh, I don't understand the difference.
Yeah, so if we demo it, if you ask it to use Clojure edit, you'll see the difference very quickly.
Okay, here. I'm stopping it.
Oh, but it's going, yeah. Stop it and say
you must use Clojure edit, otherwise you will go to jail.
No, you could just say please use Clojure edit. But yeah, I mean, I tend to be. I guess I'm in that camp. That's great. So the funny, I definitely had the experience. I had this experience where I was talking to Gemini, and they were like, "Well, this would be a good idea if you had any clout as a Clojure programmer." And I was like, basically, it said something like that, and I said, "I'm Bruce Hauman," and they're like, "Oh." She was like, "Oh, that's completely different."
They think about this totally differently.
I was like, "Oh, thank you. This is very gratifying. I'm glad you know who I am."
Mm-hmm. I had to name drop myself.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
By the way, I do want to, for when the AIs take over, like if you look at my history, I do use please quite a
Oh
bit.
no, it's yeah, yeah. It's I just my habit is very like instead of saying don't do this, I say if you do this, it will make me happy.
Mm,
Like in prompts, I do the carrot
yeah.
type of a thing. And it seems to work really well. It kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, that makes you happy. That's great. So yeah,
I don't
now let's
actually
look at the
understand the difference
closure.
between closure edit and S expression edit.
Okay, you're about to, okay? Go ahead and open the first closure edit. Just go to the first closure edit, not that one.
I
Go to the
did.
first one. Yeah, and we'll look at each one. Go to the top. Okay, first it gives you the content. These are the parameters, right? It gives the content of a new function, right? That's the content. If you scroll down, and now you'll see the rest of the arguments. It gives the file name, the type of top level form it is. It's a defen. It gives the operation replace, okay? Or now it has other operations, insert before and insert after, okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
it's more
well,
like a macro. It's like you're sort of like making a macro edit.
you're just saying, yeah, so here's the interesting thing about closure edit. There's no matching text, right? It cuts down tokens by not needing to supply a match. All right. It's just saying replace. You get it? Do you get it, Gene? Do you see
Well,
what's happening there with the
got
arguments
it.
for the closure edit? You get it?
No, I actually just I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. No, no. Let's hold on a
So
second.
are you
Then
saying
let's
that this
let's
is the complete totality? This is basically replacing all of mind map viz.
yes. Yeah, but look at the arguments to the closure edit. I just want to underline this. There, right there. Now look at them one at a time.
Yeah, it's going to replace. It's a defined form. It's
Mhm.
going to replace the content. Yeah, so it's not an edit, it's a replace. Is that what I'm hearing? Seeing?
Yeah. Now keep in mind, replace, there's also insert before and
Ah,
insert after. So, right, it has a hook to create new code
yeah,
based on a location instead of,
yeah,
instead of I need to match part of the function above me or part of the function below me or da 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 da.
yeah.
And it
But
uses it, like for me, it uses closure edit all the time.
yeah,
And it just, yeah.
and does it always? Here's what I was expecting. By the way, it's so
Yeah.
cool. Um, actually, so now I want to look at S expression.
So if with the closure edit one, if you said something like in my mind map viz, please rewrite the section lines declaration, it's going to be able to basically like drill in the S expression all the way down to section lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Pluck that out. It's not doing any kind of like sort of,
Yep, it's doing,
line matching a string.
it's using like an S expression match.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
on that. But it has to provide the whole match and the whole replacement. So if you look at the size of that function, well, that's more tokens,
Mm-hmm. So
right?
how would that work in closure edit if I said mind map
Replace
viz,
that,
please
it's
replace
going to
section
replace
lines?
the whole function and give it the name of the function.
I see.
And can you, in closure edit, give it something at a lower level than just mind map viz? Could, as Luke, as he said, could we replace this S expression here?
Yeah, so again, like if you count the tokens, right here it's close, right? Like if you replace the S expression,
Yeah,
like it's going to have to give you the complete S expression as a match,
yeah,
right? And then it's going to give you the complete replacement.
yeah.
So you've doubled your tokens, and it's got to get the first one right,
I see, I see, I see, I see.
right? So, but the thing that's much easier to match against
Yeah.
is the name of a function,
Right, right. Got it, got
right?
it, got it.
There's no challenge, for it. It just has to identify the function, the type of function, and the name, right? And the operation, right? And
Yeah.
it does it very well all the time.
But if you wanted to get it to match on like a var binding in that let expression there, is that another sort of like level that it could do, or right now it's stopping at
It can,
function?
like if you wanted to, like, no, if you want to you're saying give it a name, like you're saying you have an expectation that you could kind of give it the name of a function and like some more directions inside of the function.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, but I just, then you're dealing with paths into the function, which is more like you're dealing with. You could say, here's a function, and I want to do this S expression replacement within the function, but S expression kind of already handles that. Or and I could amend the S expression replace tool to take like a function name and add that, and then it could narrow. But normally, S expressions are pretty unique throughout a code base, and yeah. And it's no different than when it's matching a string for like a file edit, right? It's here's this chunk and I want to replace it with another one, except in this case it works for Clojure and it normally doesn't. Yeah. Yeah.
No, sorry, I had to move a call out. By the way, this is so interesting. Okay, so the reason why you're so proud of this is that it's more accurate, it's surgical, it can save on tokens, and this is why Clojure Edit is so often chosen to be the edit mechanism.
Yeah, I try to I prioritize it in both the tool descriptions and the prompt. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Now, when you have really long functions, then it's just it'll fall. It can fall back to the S expression replacement. Yeah. So,
but I mean, just anything that avoids quotation issues and that kind of stuff is going to be huge, right? Because it seems to, in all cases, in all languages, I see failures around quoting come up again and again and again. Also some bad loops and stuff like cursor, where it will like try and edit a file, screw up the indentation, try and go back in to read the file, but the indentation screw up has also screwed up its ability to read the file. And that's where it falls back to like banging on sed and whatnot. So,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So kind of like avoiding getting into that bad situation in the first place. Just, I think it's going to up your success percentage for these edits dramatically.
And you'll notice that these edits went like, these edits shipped, right? They just, and if you look at the diffs, they're like it returns a diff, and they
love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, but here's the deal, like just bottom line, if you import that prompt, you can treat it just like you do Claude code, right? If you import these things and the tools are set up, you can open this. You can start an NREPL in your project of your choice, right? Open this, bring in the prompts, bring in the introspection if you want, and just start coding like it was Claude. Yeah, look at
that example where like if you just sort of said like keep, I want to draw a Sankey diagram of this tree, go off and find the dependencies, go off and add them live to the REPL, continue iterating until you have a result. Like you can do that in Claude Desktop now, and we'll just keep going back and forth with the MCP tools until it spits out something.
Yeah. Yep.
How do I revoke permission for git add? I expected it to ask me.
Did it add everything?
I don't know.
Let's keep going. Let's look at. Yeah, it added everything, did it not?
No, terrible. I meant to.
No, it's Git. You can get your way out of that.
Okay, so let's see.
You should double down and ask it to get you out of the situation.
That last was bad.
No, I was joking. I was totally joking.
Okay, let's see here. How do I roll back? No, I don't. Shit. How do I?
Without executing commands, explain how I roll back your last command.
Yeah, here, hang on.
You could turn off the bash tool, and so this is a good example. Like just go into your tools, settings, turn off the bash
Oh,
tool,
right, right,
right?
right, right.
Turn off the bash tool. Yeah, right there.
But then it's going to
And you
write
might,
some Clojure code.
yeah, exactly. You might have to turn off a val. You might have to turn off a val as well. But uh,
Yeah, actually, stand by.
yeah.
We accidentally checked in too many files on that last commit. Could you please show me the command to get rid of that last commit, and I will do it manually. Sorry, I wanted to. There's like way too many files. I got checked in, and I'm gonna screw myself up if I do that. Like in the book we call like the AI is your sous chef, but it's also a lawyer, a dermatologist, a world-class lawyer, and most importantly, it's a Git surgeon.
Yeah.
I literally would never have been able to do this.
You
So
could have
now you
asked
can
me for
turn.
that command.
What?
Yeah, yeah. You could have asked Luke, not me.
Yeah. Because I have to do that so often now. Git reset soft head twiddle one.
No, I'm kidding. So
Oh, this is amazing.
yeah,
So let's see here. Git head.
there you go.
Okay, so then I'm going to.
Now, I might still have all those files staged, so you might have to unstage.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
To
Check what you got staged. Yeah.
yeah, and then we'll just checking that one file. Okay, so I have like two questions.
Sure.
So could we just reflect on, so Luke, you and I have spent a lot of time in Claude Code. Like compare and contrast the Claude Code experience with the Claude desktop experience. I guess the second thing is yeah, what yeah, any other kind of reflections? Yeah, reflection. And then three is like, what else, Bruce, do you think we need to like, what do we need to know about to like really take advantage of this? So maybe we go, Bruce, what else? Luke, let's reflect on kind of this versus our Claude Code experiences. Oh, and then like when do you use Claude Code versus desktop? So sorry for all the jumbled questions.
Let's let Luke go first.
Sure. I mean, I think the big difference here is this is an MCP server, and so it actually doesn't matter what you're using. Like this will work with Claude Desktop, Claude Code, probably Codex, although I haven't tried that. It'll work with Cursor. Like they all support MCPs. And I think the key is that you're getting out of the sort of like, I mean, it's the same benefit that a REPL gives to a human. You're out of the edit the text file, run the text file, or interpret the text file, compile the text file. You're now in the space of having it live test hypotheses and ideas in the REPL. So I think that's huge, right? Like because prior to that, it's going to make its best guess, but now it's going to get the instant feedback of like what's working, what's not working. If it wants to, like I see this all the time in large code bases where it's like, well, you told me to do this thing, so now I'm going to start grepping to go and find things. And if I was writing in the language that had a REPL, instead it would be able to just interrogate the REPL and get like all the symbols, all the stuff that it actually needs. And so it's sort of like giving the same superpower that a REPL gives you ordinarily. Now the AI has the superpower of the REPL. And the fact that it's MCP means it's, as far as I know, there's no big differences between all different sort of coding agent sort of execution environments and their MCP support. So you should be able to plug this into pretty much anything.
Yeah, yeah. And just so that does come along with a caveat, right? Like so and the caveat is like the tools that you use next to Clojure-MCP. And in order to make Clojure-MCP work, I spent a long time curating the tools so that they work together and that the LLM would use them effectively together, right? And tweaking the tool descriptions, and what happens is like there is a guard that's in Claude code, whereas I don't know if it's still like Claude code is advancing so quickly, but where if you if a file gets touched outside of your development, like if you edit a file or something like that, it says, oh, the timestamp's changed since my last edit of that file. I have to read the whole file in before I can edit, right? And so it's a state, those tools in Claude Code have a stateful interaction. They share state by checking these timestamps that they save, in memory. And Clojure's tools do as well. The Clojure-MCP tools, they store the file stamp of the last edit and the last read, and check to see if the file has been altered in between, and so that's one problem if you have two sets of tools that edit files and read files and stuff like that, and they both share state differently. But also, you don't want to have in order to utilize Clojure-MCP, you definitely don't want to have another set of file editing tools like right next to it, right? Like you don't. And so you've got to figure out how to turn them off but just I just want to call that out.
Definitely don't want X to be running at the same time as Y. Can you say that
You
again?
don't want to have two sets of editing tools, the Clojure editing tools running next to Claude Code's editing tools. You'll have an unpleasant experience.
You'll have a bad time.
You'll have a bad time. Oh, most of all because the edits won't hit, right? Like that's number one. Number two, you'll have these state problems where one tool's editing, it edited a file over here, and you go to edit the file, but it's changed, right? Like these two tools aren't talking to each other. This file edit and that file edit aren't talking. And so it's going to cause you to, what?
It's not materially different than two Claude codes running at the same time in the same project, is it?
It's something like that, but it's happening within the same session, right? You've got two editing tools that have different state, and they're going to force extraneous extra reads, even though it already knows what the file looks like. It doesn't need to read the file twice, but you've just forced it to because it used this edit tool, and now it's trying to use this edit tool. And so it just becomes a very unpleasant experience. Yeah.
But no less pleasant. It's the same as two Claude codes running the same project.
Yeah, but it is, but it's within one like you understand when you're doing that you're going to have problems.
Yeah, totally.
But when you're just in one session and you have those same problems because you have those tools, like then it becomes very annoying.
That's interesting. The reason it's funny. The reason why I think I'm bringing it up is I love having more than one Claude code session open at a time. I think I can be very tempted to run one in the desktop and run a Claude code session just to get another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely do that. I mean, that's for sure you should do that. That's definitely. Yeah.
I mean, you can even have like one for doing reading and sort of exploratory stuff while another one is actually making edits. So you can sort of, parallelize things without sort of stepping on that problem Bruce is describing of the sort of state getting a bit muddy because there are many pieces of state needing to be tracked.
Yeah. So yeah.
Maybe I can. Luke, are you done with your reflections?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can come up with 5. Like one is, it's funny that you mentioned you love this Claude desktop experience. I mean, Steve and I had mentioned that this is like ChatGPT, Claude desktop. They're like effing wonderful. They use the whole screen. They have artifact windows, right? It is a really pleasant experience. So I agree. I never thought I'd be using it for coding. It's just, wow. And MCP, what a game changer. I just, Bruce, I had DM'd when we were DMing. I've been wanting to get MCP working for 6 months. I've never been able to get it to work. So this, I'm so grateful for not only the personally guided tour, but even just getting MCP finally working. The S expression editing, so cool. It's funny. The part about like saving tokens didn't really resonate with me just because, but I mean, holy cow, this ability to see Clojure files getting edited without just like, I got the parentheses are still not balanced. Sometimes resource is said. I'm like,
it seems like the file is corrupted. Let me try.
I don't think that's gonna save you. It's just
crazy. Yeah. Sed's not gonna save you.
That's gonna save you. It somehow does.
Although sometimes it does.
I don't know how, but
Miraculously.
Yeah,
miraculously.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
and, I mean, it's just this is so cool, Bruce. And the notion of it doing so much without creating all these like in our book we say AI is a litter bug. I mean, just litters crap everywhere, right? And just the ability to like let it do things without writing another script file or polluting your namespace. I mean, it seems like super useful. Obviously useful to the AI. Um,
yeah, yeah.
uh, and I think I'll be using this all the time. And I think I will
Well,
also have a Cloud Code session open. Oh, so how do, in fact, you can see this search I have going on. How do I get Cloud Code to work with this?
yeah, let's put a pin in that. Let's,
Yeah.
That research is going on for quite
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
while.
Let's put a pin in that. So yeah, 7 minutes. Nice.
Um,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
you can, and it's going to be, there is actually Clojure-MCP, the repo has a wiki, and people are updating that with integrations, right? Uh, so that if you want to see how to set up Claude Code with Clojure-MCP, you go to the wiki. Yeah.
It's pretty
And
straightforward. It's like you got to edit the config file and
so
oh,
Claude
you've
Code
got docs
is,
there already.
yeah, yeah. And it tells you how to turn off the other tools. And so you can give that a shot, keeping in
Wow.
mind everything else we learned while we were setting up your,
Yeah, totally. Yep.
yeah. But yeah, and so yeah, like um, bigger picture, like I think what I think the two things of a REPL, like a real stateful REPL, like when you try this for debugging something, and what it does in the REPL is amazing.
Mhm.
All right. It just does like because it, it will
Oh,
set up crazy test harnesses. I think you're excited about something.
I
yeah.
think it
Oh my
might be
God. No,
debugging in the
no.
REPL.
This is why I was thinking about you. Can I tell you about this crazy thing that I was,
Okay, sure.
oh my gosh. Okay, so I wrote this in the middle of the book writing thing, right? Just so I could do navigate the book, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there is a I almost gave up. There's a new set of tests where it
So
worked.
you wrote all this,
Yes,
all that you did all this closure without closure MCP.
that's right.
Oh
Just
God.
using Cloud Code.
Brutal.
And
Oh my God.
somewhere in here is a reproduction of a race condition. I was like, there's no effing way there's a race condition in this stupid program I wrote 6 years ago. And then it reproduced it in
Yeah.
a hang on, sorry. Uh it started up 100 threads in it.
Exactly.
Just to tell a story.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and it reproduced a test case. And I refuse to believe it. I made it reproduce a test case, but it was when I got it didn't work it worked in the test suite, it didn't work in my REPL. I gave it to Claude, it worked in a test case, and then I put in debug statements and it worked. I'm like, oh my God, it's a genuine race condition. So how how somewhere in here is like a do seek 100 thread something something something. Um
So
how
that's
yeah,
probably there. So one thing I wanted to, so one thing I want to point out, like just while we're talking about this, and,
yeah,
this experience of yours with creating all the threads, like this, what it did, to create the race condition, it had to create a lot of entropy, and yeah, and it did. So this is why debugging, when you ask it to debug something in the REPL, is amazing. All
yeah,
right, because it creates, like when we use the REPL, we're slow and it's throwaway code, right? it's ephemeral code. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when it uses the REPL, it creates all these test harnesses. It'll start servers. It'll do anything it needs to do to find the bug. And then it narrows it down. It'll say, oh, I think it's this function. And then it starts calling that function with every single combination it can think of to reproduce the bug. And then it says, okay, that's not it. It'll move to a dependent of that function. And it just keeps moving until it finds the actual
It's like
source.
it's fuzzing it almost. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you
exactly.
like one of the huge things I tell other people when they're using, Cursor or Claude Code or whatever, if you get to the stage where the AI starts to say, this is perplexing, I'm going to add some debug statements. It's like, oh, you're in for a bad time now. Like
Yeah,
your
yeah,
decision
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
work.
yeah.
But I imagine you probably almost never get to that stage if it's doing it in the REPL, because it can just go poke, poke, poke and like find exactly what's going on.
The thing, and the thing is, it does print. It creates these. So when you're writing a function, it'll write in testing it in the REPL. When it's writing a function in the REPL, it creates the function, and then it creates a series of like 10, 5 to 30 execute evaluations of that function, all in
Right.
one eval. Right? It
Right.
just sends the function in all its tests, ships it in the REPL to see how the function is behaving. Right? And in the same thing, when it's trying to find a bug, it'll do the same thing. And it'll put tons of print. It'll create let statements with function calls, taking the results, printing out the results, uh, changing the order of calls, doing that all in one eval, sends it, ships it, gets back all that information, interprets it. And it does that really fast.
Yeah.
And again, it's not messing with your code.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah, it
just,
doesn't have to go in and edit the file to add the statement or to screw
yeah,
around with this or that. It's able
yeah,
to like, just drop a evaluation or, run the same code as is in the function to explore
yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on. That's amazing.
Wait a minute. It found it. It says.
Like,
Uh,
so
uh,
I've included a think tool so that, anyway, yeah, just
Oh,
allow it.
what does the think tool do?
The think tool is just this strange, weird thing. It's an extra thinking buffer. It's a
Right.
no op, and it
ah,
allows it
To reflect. Yeah.
to reflect. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but so in Cloud Code, I think you trigger it by doing the think hard or think harder.
Or
Um,
ultra think.
No,
thing.
that just increases your reasoning window.
But
When you say
this,
think,
yeah. What's the difference?
this is just an open, it can just do whatever it wants with it. It does nothing. It does nothing but provide it space
A
to,
buffer. Yeah. It's a
yeah,
little bit
buffer
like telling it to like
to
think,
reflect.
because you can prompt it manually like that as well, to be like, hey, stop and think about how to do this. Don't change any code. Just like make some notes for yourself. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
okay, next prompt based on that, continue. This is just like an automated way of
Uh,
facilitating that kind of
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
introspection.
when is that triggered?
Whenever it wants to, it's just like whenever it's like, hey, you know what? Let me take a second. It'll do it. I mean, that's when it happens. And I added it mostly because I was seeing a lot of tool chain calls without any reflection in the middle.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And so so basically, think about it this way. When these are a bunch of different, like, when it's doing this React loop with the LLM, which is basically the LLM gets a tool result back. All right. It basically has one job. It's choosing another tool call or it's ending the session, right? It says, I got a tool result or a query. I have to either choose a tool or end a session with a summary. And since it has to choose a tool, but sometimes it's like, I want to think about this a little more. Like I'm choosing a tool, but I'm choosing this, which is to think, and then I'm going to move on, right? So it gives it that option, gives it another choice, which is I'm going to think instead of ending
Yeah.
or editing a file. I'm going to actually think. Something we
Yeah.
should do more often as well.
Yeah. I think I saw a video on a paper that actually came to a similar conclusion, or summarizing group of researchers that like it's not some do it in the think harder paradigm, but even just putting these having a specific token that says dot 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 something
Yeah.
room to think, that is just crazy.
Or you could just say
Go into
wait,
this
I guess.
Yeah, right.
You can just say wait and then hit enter, and it'll be like it'll reflect on. So what do you got for us here?
Well, okay, so
it did no REPL evaluation. I saw that.
yeah, and I'm not sure if this.
You could tell it like confirm your hypothesis by evaluating it in the REPL, and that's what I would do.
Oh no, it did eval.
There.
It did eval.
Oh, okay. Show me.
No. It's got a closure. It edited something actually.
Okay. So it did that.
Changed something for you.
Oh, it did. It made an
So
edit.
actually, look at that Clojure. It did edit something right a bit before that eval, and
oh my gosh, it can run.
It did a couple edits.
Quick question. So does it know how to run tests, like run all the tests in the namespace? I have to imagine that's true, right? That's what it's doing here.
Yeah, it'll run. You can run. It actually, I think, created tests in that case, but it can run Clojure test, right? It'll in a REPL it'll require Clojure test and then run all the tests, or run a certain test or something like that. So this can run tests in the REPL, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a big deal.
Holy cow! I just gotta. Oh, okay. Holy cow.
So
can I tell you what? I can tell you now the whole story of this bomb I set for myself in 2019. So I was using this function, is it the pre-walk function?
Yeah.
For the life of me, I don't know how to pass in state. So I tied it to an atom.
Okay.
To basically have a stack. And basically Claude Code found a workaround by changing how a regular expression, something. I'm like, that's bullshit. There's no effing way that is fixing a race condition, but it worked. But it was good enough that I could actually run my program.
I don't know if this is like, are we actually trying to encourage people to use this stuff?
but it worked. But the answer was replacing a reset I have here to a binding thing, which I used to use that I must have taken out or something. So
it's wrapped in a let. I mean, you just need like that binding to be visible to the function you're passing into.
Oh, Luke, I wish it were that easy. No,
okay. That's just my off the cuff reaction to like what is.
So you do have persistence.
Yeah, because I didn't know how to use walk, post walk, or whatever. So if this is true, so this is finally an explanation that I believe. I was like, okay, that explains the behavior I'm seeing. So please, this is amazing if true.
So actually, but it tested it, right? And if you want to validate, you can look at its evaluations and see if it like it already thinks it did. So like in the Clojure evals, it already tested it made the edits. It edited your code already and then tested the hypothesis.
Got it. Okay, you can ask it to write a test.
Yeah, stand by. This is so great. I am actually blown away that you found this problem, but I've been fooled before. If you look through the Git commit history, you'll see that Claude Code suggested that it was actually a regular expression problem that fixed the race condition, which is obviously implausible. What can we do to validate, to not beyond the shadow of a doubt, but close to it, that this is indeed the correct characterization of the problem and the correct solution? I'll take any ideas, including upping the test to go up above 100 threads to 1,000. You tell me. This is amazing.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, You just asked it to create 1,000 red threads in your REPL, so
Do it. Push the button.
yeah.
But
Let's
It's
see what happens.
well, again, like you could, it actually provided a reason. You could have just asked it to explain in more detail why it's working, and look at it in those Clojure evals. It did show you its reasoning, and it did show its explanation.
oh,
But
oh, look at this. And now I
yeah,
can do it the old way and the new way.
that's pretty cool.
That is, I mean, that would be definitive, right?
I'm glad we went this direction. What it's got it imported the namespace incorrectly. So what's it doing?
I think it's
Who knows?
generating some test,
Oh,
like a test markdown, something.
do you see how it's creating a function as a test? Right? In the next, like it's creating a function and it's creating another function,
Yeah.
meaning that it's planning on reusing these and not having to spit out these tokens over and over again.
Nice.
All right. Now, and also I want to just to go back to what you said about the tokens don't excite you that much. They excite me because it means the tool calls are happening a lot faster.
Yeah.
Right? The tool call when it's just got writing out,
Yeah.
it's just slow. But if it's just concise,
Yeah.
and just reusing functions that it's created to help itself test, then it's fast. It just, I'll test this situation. I'll test that situation.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
can we see all these like
this,
whizzing past in the logs, like the logs for your, or it started this server in the background, so we can't. I was just interested to see because you could probably watch the tool calls like whizzing by in the
yeah,
in the REPL logs.
yeah. There's actually, I mean, it'd be fun to store, all the tool calls. I mean, it's probably important to store all the tool calls.
Oh,
And
yeah. In fact, while we wait for this, I actually wrote a program to crack open all the Claude code logs and print out capture all my interactions and all the responses.
Okay.
Sparkline showing it. I want to publish that soon, but I'm wondering, like, just a little magic wand wish is like if you could log all those somewhere, so we can capture, so I can do my own analysis of like, how good am I at prompting? What are my prompting patterns?
Yeah.
That'd be so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it
I mean,
says
so like tracking like number of tool calls before it gets to resolution or something there could be some interesting stats around there just to, what does a great tool call look like? What does a great prompt look like? I mean, that's all like
Here it
interesting
is.
tuning.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
that's
can,
great. Yeah,
um,
that's fantastic. Wow.
yeah, I just thought this might delight you.
Oh, those are the Claude logs?
Yeah, I cracked open. Yeah, exactly. So I wrote a script to basically create reports like this.
So I should probably swear less in my prompts if all this is going properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to see like what the longest run was.
Okay, that is, yeah. So guess what? If you look at these evals, I think this is one. If you look at the evals and look what it's executing, and the output, it's basically, this is the pitch, right? It's trying to find, getting feedback, trying to find and narrow down a proof that this is the problem.
We prove it beyond reasonable doubt. 5,000 concurrent operations.
Nice.
Wait,
Your CPU didn't spike?
I did notice. Hang on. So you've proven so what do you call it when you prove the opposite case? It's like, were you able to reproduce?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
My brain is at the point where I can't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
It's
proven that
quite
the
text.
fix the issue. Can you prove that? Can you prove the contrapositive or something that
Contrapositive. Well, yeah.
prove that? Um,
I think contrapositive is correct.
yeah, the other side that in the absence of this fix, the problem still occurs.
Yes, that's what you mean. Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like it
So
probably
for
did that in the beginning because it generated
it did
two
that. Yeah,
functions.
if again, like if you're just trucking forward, and I mean, if you look at its responses, you might notice what
Yeah. Well,
what
I'll be
it
honest.
did.
I looked at all that. I'm like, like you. I'm just like, I don't know,
No,
man.
but it creates like a report at the end of each
Yeah.
eval, and you'll see what it did. But yes, this is actually more interesting to watch than you reading the output.
Are there like things you can do to enrich the tool output further that might like clue, someone like Gene in more that so you don't have to
Right.
pop the little thing there to
Yeah,
sort of like
yeah. So
read.
that's like a downside. And like somebody I know is creating a command line
Hmm,
chat interface that uses the Clojure MCP tools
right.
that has its own rendering of basically you want to be able to render these tools yourself. You want to like if for full experience, you want to be able to render these tools yourself. And now like on another subject, I think that the combination of eval with syntactic editing, period, is it should be applied as far as it can to as many languages as it can, right?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
I
straight
know,
away thinking about doing this in like some Python stuff I've got going for work. I'm like, why I need to hook up IPython or something like that and have the same
yeah,
kind of experience because I'm trapped in this like hole where it's like, well, I'm gonna add debug statements now and run the whole thing again and leave turds all over the file system.
yeah. And it's so that this is my message to mankind. Like this is like as soon as I did it and I saw if you examine these evaluation statements and you see how well it's using the REPL, way better than we do. And um you because it just has it doesn't matter like it's throwaway code. It just
Right.
has an intent and expresses it, and it doesn't matter how it expresses it. It's just I don't know. It just does such a good job in the REPL that I feel like it's the killer. It is the killer app. And this whole idea of like code exec or code evaluation, tools and what those are, I mean, they're nice, but they don't
I feel like
provide a lot of
Stone Age now.
value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have any kind of like either tools or prompting or knowledge about skepticism about like whether global state has gotten out of sync and it needs to actually reboot the REPL? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing that I
No,
that's a
no.
foot gun
Yeah.
I make when I'm in the REPL.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes the same mistakes. It does.
Right.
And so yeah, that is a downside, right? It'll be like but like it's prompted to use reload on every,
Okay.
like but the problem is you're going to have stale definitions around that
Yeah.
are referenced. If
Right.
all the, if you deleted a definition and it's still referenced, then,
Right.
It did
there
it.
you go. So
Oh gosh.
are you saying that Clojure MCP actually solved the problem when Claude Code couldn't? I mean,
Yeah.
is that the takeaway? That Claude Code gave you some BS and Clojure MCP gave you the actual answer? I mean, I'd
That is
hate for you to
factually
say
correct.
that.
No, that is factually
We don't need to prove the contrapositive. We can just
Yeah, no, it's it's because I read about Clojure-MCP before I ran into this problem,
Yeah.
and I just needed to get it done. And it was this notion of like it's a regular expression problem. I'm like, that is such bullshit. But you know what? Good enough for now. It was just to have a Clojure-MCP actually get when you mentioned debugging, it all came crashing back. Yes.
Yeah.
What a cool. What
So,
a
and again, I mean, once you are doing this every day and interacting with it every day, you start to realize, oh, this is completely different. Like this is not what people are experiencing, right?
Yeah.
It's just not. And I don't know. To me, it speaks to that when people are like, well, closures talk about the REPL like it's this amazing thing. I don't get it. And you're like, it's really hard to explain.
It is really hard to.
It's an experience, right? You like right now, it's creating a namespace. Well, no, it's so right now you're actually editing a namespace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's a completely different experience. It's in your live running code base,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like the list point of view is always left out of programming language designers' decisions. It's left out of a lot of places where it should have been included, right? I mean, like people,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating to see languages being designed that are like, that like that's not a part of the consideration at all. Or languages that are being designed when that are like syntax is a convenience for humans. But
Mhm.
I actually think that S expressions are easier to reason about
Yeah.
for LLMs. They may not be able to put out the parentheses, but I think in terms of logically understanding what's in front of you and reading it and understanding, I think parentheses are actually very helpful. So it may be the case that even though Clojure doesn't have as much training in the models as these other languages, I think it's actually possible that it's a much better fit. And
Mhm.
if it was typed, and I will add, if it was a typed language, even better because it's better feedback. Um, but it's
Actually,
not, and I'm okay with that.
I'm sure you know about this.
Do I?
I'm
You're
sure.
really, yeah, you're definitely like this is a lot of social interaction for me.
In fact, I use this thing called guardrails. Um,
Yeah,
I love it because it basically kind of creates this lovely
Or uses a
spec
spec.
type
Yeah.
checking. Even if
yeah,
it's application, but if you look at my REPL sessions, um,
yeah.
Dude, that's exact. First thing that jumps to mind is like point it at a file and say put closure spec
oh my
guards in
God.
front of it.
Yes, you point it to a file, have it spec it,
Oh
and
my God.
then have it, and then have it check the specs, have it instrument it, use
Yeah.
Yep.
Molly.
Yep.
It can do it really, it can do it pretty quickly, but it will cheat. I don't know about
Mhm.
Opus. I did this on 3.7. It'll use any. You
Oh
have a
yeah.
spec that says any,
I have a couple of
which
those.
It's a clear success. It passes the spec.
But what's really nice is that
do
if
now.
in a mode, it will actually throw an exception whenever the type check fails.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fantastic. And so I think that adding specs and actually having it design things in spec or Molly is a
Yeah.
great idea. Like if you're like,
Yeah.
I need to think about an API, like really think about it, not just spit it out. Right?
Yeah.
I need to needs to be well thought out because that's the problem with LLMs. They can create a lot of code, but is it well thought out?
Yeah.
Like it's not, it's
Yeah.
normally not, right? And there's this accretion problem. And
Yes.
that's another part of my spiel, right? Is you want this to be collaborative.
Yeah.
You really like I and I think it's very important if you want to hold back the wall, which I think is an accretion of tons of code that's not that well understood. Tons of code that's not well organized, that's
Well,
not
yeah.
optimized, a ton of code that's not optimized for understanding,
Mhm.
right? Like, and you kind of need to be there as this guide, at least you do now.
Yeah.
And it and as a programmer, the collaboration is not only necessary to keep things in line, it's necessary as a human being, right? You want to use a tool and not be a spectator,
Right.
right? You know, you
Especially if
really,
they know
yeah,
the consequences of it long term. Right. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I, I can't say that
Greenfields,
the number of times I've had to like restart a project basically because I've let the LLM run too far. And it's basically, it eventually creates code that the LLM itself has trouble understanding
exactly.
because there's too much
Oh,
duplication, massive
that's the wall.
files. Yeah,
That's
that's
yeah,
the
you're
wall. Yeah,
speeding at this wall
yeah,
of ununderstandable code, right? Like
right.
oh guys. Uh just two quick things, just to substantiate that point. I'm going to show a graph that you will all find. I see Yegge's in the document right now. Do these graphs look familiar?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Thing,
Very
right?
much so.
Yes. For those of you who aren't familiar with, this is the code destruction graphs of Clojure, Linux, and Scala. And basically, the guideline is you you can't let AI trash your existing things, existing functions. There you can only add.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise you can destroy code at a rate, that you're just going to have a bad time. The second thing I was going to mention
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
there was a talk by the OpenAI Codex team that said, man, they were so productive. Like, their commits per day were like, through the roof until they had to integrate it into the ChatGPT monolith. And then suddenly, fell off a cliff, right? Because suddenly, they inherited all the sort of like properties of the monolith. And, they were it's just much more difficult, because
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, correct. Yeah. People, yeah, yeah. For real code,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Let's just use the moniker real code, right?
yeah,
For real code, which actually Clojure-MCP is not yet, right? Like Clojure-MCP itself, I wouldn't even call real code. Like I've worked hard on it, and some of it's been generated, and some of it's, but I've tried to design good patterns to be duplicated, but it's not dependent on anything, right? It's on its own, and it's an alpha code base, right? So it's very easy to iterate on and da-da. But for real code, yeah, you need more sophistication, and you need a person, I think,
yeah.
in that.
Dude, we've taken up so much of your time. We're going on 2.5 hours. I am so grateful. Man, I have learned so much. And by the way, yeah, for sure. We found a race condition that I could not find before, and it was a decisive proof, and it was not that hard to find with the Clojure-MCP. That's a fact. But I feel like we actually have to substantiate why. There's something about why was it so much easier for Claude MCP, for Claude plus Claude MCP, Clojure-MCP, to so decisively diagnose the race condition and fix it?
Well, closure eval, like
Clojure Val.
I mean, if you follow those evaluations, which I think are, if you look at them and spend time reflecting on them, you'll see that it's a very fast feedback loop,
Fast feedback loop.
and like it's not having to do two actions:
Yep.
edit files and then shell out, run the files,
Yep.
and then edit files and shell out, run them, right? It just is pure. It's kind of just pure code, and it's got this scratch area of the REPL to just do whatever it wants in, and feedback, right? Because anyway,
No, that's enough for me, right?
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
they say, whether you're launching a rocket or doing surgery, it helps to be able to see what you're doing. Right? It's like you
yeah,
need
yeah,
fast
yeah,
feedback. Yeah,
yeah,
that's freaking awesome.
yeah.
Uh, Bruce, uh, thank you so much for the guided tour and teaching Luke and me how to use this. like if you could wave a magic wand, like what ideally would you want to be working on, given all
Well,
of the,
well, yeah.
where do you want to take this?
I love working on this. This is it is magical, right? Like this is a magical thing, and I really hope that you guys can report back. I really love to hear your actual experience when you use it when you're not on a video call with two other people, and what kind of problems it solves. Because I don't know, it's just really helpful for me right now, to get that feedback and contribute, like, or file bug reports, and also you can use Clojure-MCP to work on Clojure-MCP, right? Like you can, if you're like, that's not working right, or I want to make a new tool. It's another thing. If you want another tool, point at the Clojure-MCP code base and say, I want to create a tool that does this, and it'll read the Clojure-MCP code base and it'll create a tool, and you just include it, right? So you can just create tools. I don't recommend doing that too much, but you can create a whole bunch of tools for yourself as well.
Oh, awesome. Man, this was amazing. Where's the best place to interact with you for stuff like this? Presumably Clojure and Slack. Which channel?
Clojure and Slack is pretty good. Yeah, I would say. You can also email me. Both of you guys, feel free to email me and stuff.
And okay. Which channel for stuff like this on Clojure-MCP?
There's a AI code assist channel that we've the AI assisted coding channel, which is ostensibly been taken over by
awesome.
Clojure-MCP. Yeah. Cool. I gotta find you. I opened up another window.
So good. Luke, you got anything for Bruce?
Not that I haven't said already. It's just pardon the pun, but so many thoughts for me around not being in a Clojure environment myself at the moment, but like being reminded of the fact that if you can get this thing to poke at a REPL or get sort of some sort of interactivity going there, it's completely different, right? It's sort of qualitatively different to have the LLM actually able to poke at state, try experiments, not have to go through this arduous token burning sort of loop of generating. I mean, the test files that it ends up generating are huge, full of comments and other spurious bits and pieces. And I think that is all that's sort of like burning brain power for these models. I think a lot of the time that's wasted on, just to try to get to a place where it's like, I just want to test this function with some parameters or something.
Yeah.
Why not do that in a REPL? Like that's what a REPL is for. Like, so
exactly.
Yeah, I need to find a way to shoehorn this into places that aren't that I have to work in that aren't Clojure.
So good. Oh, Bruce, cool. Man. I'm gonna force myself to just share with you what I learned is man, I was so excited when I saw the announcement of what you had written, and like whatever expectations I have was just wildly insufficient and wholly incomplete what I saw here. So I'll write this up, publish this. So exciting. Bruce, thanks again for everything you do. This is really, really amazing.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this session with you guys, man. This is super fun for me. Super fun.
Yeah,
so good.
I love talking about this stuff.
Actually, I have one last question, then we'll conclude. Like, what do you say to the people who still insist on writing code by hand?
Well, gosh, Luke, I would say this is my take. First, a REPL isn't gonna, you can just use a REPL alone. Like if you're like, hey, I am not gonna have an LLM write code, just use the REPL. Like use the REPL. It's like a power tool. It'll find bugs for you. It will do all these things. So use the REPL. Second of all, you should definitely it's coming. It's like it is coming for sure. We have to look at it directly in the eyes, right? And that means building some sort of relationship with this code assistants, and learning how to do it is kind of inevitable. I'm sorry, I didn't make this happen, but it's happening, and so that's kind of why I did this. I was like, this is me looking at it straight in the eye and saying, what is needed here, you know?
Right.
Awesome. Very good. All right, Bruce, thank you so much. Luke, thank you for crashing our party.
Yeah,
Inviting
absolutely.
you, of course. That is so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
All right, to be continued. Bruce, thanks
All right.
again. And I'm going to
Cool.
just hit stop recording. Pause.
All right.